I was woken up by the feeling that someone was looking at me. My friends were standing in front of me, staring. They were discussing something. I closed my eyes for a second. My head hurt like it was being squeezed with pliers. It was either from yesterday's drunkenness or from shame for my behavior under the influence of cursed vodka. When I opened my eyes, our whole company seemed to have evaporated. Thinking that I was dreaming, I decided that I would not drink anymore. I didn't want to get up terribly, but my dryness overcame me, and I went in search of water. We were drinking at my school friend's country house. The house was gorgeous, 2 floors, a spacious attic. There was a gazebo with a barbecue in the yard. I went downstairs. There was no one in the house. It seemed that no one had lived here for 10 years. The windowsills were covered with a thick layer of dust, and there was a spider web hanging on the floor lamp, next to a large sofa. Everything seemed gloomy. I went out into the yard. To my surprise, there was no one there either, and I felt uneasy. Where did everyone go? The car was parked outside the gate, and I was sure they hadn't left me here. Another stupid joke, very funny. I said as loudly as possible so that I could be heard. Come on, come out. The prank was a success. No one answered. I only heard my echo passing through the forest. Ah, fuck you, I thought, and went to the gazebo. The gazebo was large and cozy. There was a barbecue in one corner. In the opposite corner there was a small table, 5 chairs, skewers covered with a layer of fat and various spices, and several empty bottles. Talking about yesterday's drinking. Oh, a miracle. There was a half-empty bottle of mineral water under the table. I was thanking God. Practically, I drank the water in one gulp. The dried weed disappeared without a trace. The dull pain left my poor head. There was a strange taste in my mouth, as if I had just drunk a bottle of blood. I decided that it was all from yesterday. I sat down on a chair and thought about what to do. I looked around the house. My gaze fell on the window in the attic. My first thought is maybe they hid there. I went upstairs. The door opened with a terrible creak. I went in. In the far corner there were old boxes with things. Everything was still covered with dust and cobwebs. Peter's phone, my school friend, was lying on the windowsill. I was very surprised. The phone was glowing and making some sounds. I took the phone. It was playing a video. The quality was not very good and the screen was broken, but I recognized my friends, Peter, Robert, Stephanie, and Mark. I wasn't on the video, but I didn't shoot it either. I was scared. A lot of questions popped up in my head. Who shot the video? Why did he leave his phone here? The video continued. The recording was interrupted, but it immediately continued. I was horrified by the picture. All my friends were hanging in loops on a tree and dangling their legs. There were bags on their heads. There were tears in my eyes. I recognized the place. The video was shot near a hot lake. Dropping the phone, I picked up an axe in the yard and rushed to find my friends. I ran to the place. There were clothes lying near the lake, but there were no friends, no tree. I didn't know what to do. In despair, I returned to the house, and then I decided I was crazy. From afar, I saw that my friends were sitting in the gazebo. My eyes were watering, probably from happiness. I dropped the axe and ran to the gazebo. They were sitting with their backs to me. I started talking about what happened to me, but the guys didn't pay attention to me. I called out to them. They also ignored me. I took Stephanie by the shoulder and turned her around. I threw up. There were no eyeballs. Worms crawled in them. The whole face was covered in blood. The mouth was wide open. Half of the teeth were rotten. The other half was not there at all. There was no tongue either. I didn't want to look at the others. I rushed into the house, took the keys, ran to the car, and drove away. She went to the police, gave evidence. It's been 2 years. The killer was never found. Every 4th day of the month, I learned from the news about the brutal murders of 4 people. Their bodies were found in houses near lakes, and every month I receive in sums on my phone. Well done for sleeping. I was lying on the bed and couldn't sleep. It was well past midnight by the clock. But sleep never came. I had to go to school tomorrow and prepare for the test. But in the 9th grade, not all teenagers think about studying, thinking about tomorrow. I began to gradually close my eyes and go deeper into sleep. When suddenly the phone rang. Startled by surprise and waking up at the same moment, I reached under the pillow. I took out my cell phone and looked at the screen. Already thinking normally, I saw that the number was undecided, and on the screen it was written, unknown. I picked up the phone. There was a moment's silence, and a hoarse female voice said, "Leave me alone." Confused, I dropped the call and threw everything off on made a mistake and went back to sleep. But a minute later, the call was repeated. I was already feeling uneasy, and I turned off the phone. The strange woman was now calling constantly, both day and night. I couldn't stand it anymore, but I decided not to tell Mom. I added the number to the blacklist many times, but it was useless. Days passed. And so, once before going to bed, I received an SMS from this subscriber. "Don't peek." My stomach rumbled. I was scared. Night. Mom is at work. And then someone opens the front door. I thought it was Mom and pretended to be asleep. She came in and walked over to the bed. I opened my eyes, but all I saw was a shadow near the door. I almost died. This feeling cannot be described. I couldn't breathe. It feels like there was an otherworldly force in my room just now. It was cold and smelled of burning. And here's another text message. "I told you not to peek." My heart almost jumped out. Hiding under the blanket, I quietly fell asleep. This girl never woke up again. An autumn rain is dripping over her grave now. After 3 days, a new text message from this creature came to her phone. "Sorry, I got the wrong number."